So about a year ago, I decided to make a game. I had no real plan, no budget, and way too much confidence, and I'm here to talk about how it's been going. Back in May of 2024, I began to make my first ever video game, Back on Your Feet. My overall idea was a 2D pixel art top-down style boxing game that also had a storyline of redemption. Having it be the first game I ever planned on finishing and uploading to Steam, I didn't want it to be too large scale since I knew I would be learning a lot of the necessary skills on the fly. So I created a simple plan for the layout of the game and got to work starting development. I planned on finishing the game over the summer and potentially working into the early months of the school year if I really needed it. It's currently August of 2025, which means it's been over a year since I started this game. Now, you're probably thinking that while I did start the game over a year ago, I probably took a bunch of long breaks during that time, which is why development has taken me so long. You'd be right. There were a few stretches where I wasn't working on the game, like when I was slammed with work during the school year, when I was traveling, and while I was busy with 2 different game jams this summer. However, for the most part, I was working on the game basically every day, whether it be working on an individual sprite sheet for an hour or spending the entire day creating a working opponent and fight scene. So let me give you a recap of what I have accomplished working on Back on Your Feet in the last year and where the game is currently at. I've designed and drawn 6 scenes, which makes up the game's story as of right now. However, I do plan on creating and adding a couple more scenes for the later parts of the game. Another thing I've designed and drawn is a ton of different characters and their animations. This includes 3 opponents and a player as well, who all have their own combat animations and abilities, which means they have a much larger sprite sheet. The next thing I'd like to share, which in my opinion is the most important part, is the game's story. With Back on Your Feet, the game is really centered around one sequential storyline that ties the gameplay together, connects different scenes, and builds on itself. The story itself stars you, Ken, a boxer who fell from the top of the boxing world and somehow finds himself making his way back to the top. The story largely focuses on themes of redemption and trying again, hence the name Back on Your Feet. I don't want to give away too many details so people will actually want to play the game and experience the story for themselves. For storytelling, I have programmed a dialogue system that allows the player to make choices in the form of responses during dialogue. I've also created lots of cutscenes for storytelling as well. Often the dialogue system is integrated into these cutscenes, making them interactive, and sometimes different dialogue choices will lead to different cutscenes. The next thing I'll discuss is this game's actual gameplay. To start, I've programmed a scalable combat system that includes player stamina and is extremely combo focused. Basically, with this system, the player can have 3 combos equipped at any time: a quick combo, a heavy combo, and a super combo. Upon completing a combo in a fight, which is done by performing the correct move sequentially, the player will be granted a buff or deal a debuff to the enemy, with the buff or debuff being specific to the combo they performed. To incentivize combo use even more, player stamina is refilled upon performing a successful combo. Different combos are collected and equipped as the player progresses through the story, and the player has the opportunity to choose combos at different times. To make combat more satisfying, I've added red damage pop-ups for normal punches, as well as screen shake, hit stop, and gold damage pop-ups when a combo is successfully landed. Aside from the combat side of Back on Your Feet's gameplay, there are also plenty of times where the player will be able to freely control Ken and walk to different destinations. To kind of encourage exploration, I've placed dialogue prompts in different areas of different scenes that, when interacted with, give sort of an internal monologue, usually insulting the player for even looking there in the first place. Moving on, currently the game is equipped with a main menu screen, save system, and implemented player prefs to store player-specific data to the correct saves, such as the combos equipped and the current scene the player is on. Lastly, I've created one retro game style music track for this game's city scene. I have basically no experience when it comes to sound effects or music production, so this will likely be a difficult part of development. That's another thing. I'm working on this project entirely independently, meaning I'm doing all the code, art, story writing, and music and sound effects. Currently, I'm almost done with half the game's story and gameplay. I believe I'll be able to finish Back on Your Feet and upload it to Steam by the end of the coming school year, so give or take May 2026. However, the 90-10 rule is a very real thing, and I want the game to be extremely polished, which could entirely lead to development extending towards the end of summer 2026, so no promises on a release date as of now. If you have any feedback on the game's current gameplay, art, mechanics, or anything, or have any ideas on anything I should implement or add, please feel free to leave feedback in the comments. Also, let me know if you're interested in playtesting the game. If people are, I will start working towards getting that set up. Finally, make sure to go wishlist Back on Your Feet on Steam if you're interested in the game. Wishlisting is free and a great way to show support to development. Thanks, and have a good one.